I'll tell you what, Trump just threw a lit match into the gun world by backing nationwide carry reciprocity. And that is a massive deal if you've ever had that knot in your stomach, crossing a state line with your pistol. One permit, good in all 50 states. It sounds like simple common sense, right? But the fight over this is about to get real ugly, real fast. Today we're cutting through the noise. We're going to look at what it would actually mean for one carry permit to cover you coast to coast, especially for the folks who carry every single day. Before we get into it, do me a solid. Go on and smash that subscribe button. Ring the bell for notifications. Hit all the dang buttons down there. You don't have to, but it helps me keep this train rolling and lets me crank out more of this wild gun talk for y'all. All right, let's get to it. The problem, a legal minefield. So, why is this even a conversation? Because right now, traveling with your firearm is like navigating a legal minefield, blindfolded. Every time you cross a state border, the rules can completely change, and it's on you to know them. Or else. It turns a relaxing vacation into a stressful legal exercise, forcing you to be more of a lawyer than a tourist. Imagine this. You're planning a family road trip from Texas to Montana. In Texas, you've got constitutional carry. You're good to go. You cross into Oklahoma, which honors your Texas permit. So far, so good. But then you drive into Colorado. They recognize your permit, but guess what? They have a 15-round magazine capacity limit. Those standard 17-round Glock mags you carry every day just turned into a potential criminal offense. Are you even aware of that law? Did you switch out your mags before you left? And it gets even trickier. In some states, you have a duty to inform an officer immediately that you're carrying. In other states, you only have to tell them if they ask. Getting that wrong during a stressful traffic stop can have serious consequences. This patchwork of laws creates innocent victims. And I'm not talking hypotheticals. Just ask Shanine Allen. Back in 2013, she was a single mom from Pennsylvania with a legal concealed carry permit. She drove into New Jersey, got pulled over, and did exactly what she was supposed to do in her home state. She informed the officer she had a firearm and a permit. She did everything right by Pennsylvania law, only to find out that her responsible actions were considered a crime just a few miles away. Next thing she knew, she was arrested and staring down years in prison. Her life was turned completely upside down over an invisible line on a map. She was eventually pardoned after a huge public outcry, but not before going through hell. That's the insane risk that over 21.5 million law-abiding permit holders face every single day. This system is a trap, plain and simple. The solution. H.R. 38 explained. So, in response to this mess, Trump has thrown his support behind a bill designed to fix it. H.R. 38, also known as the Constitutional Concealed Carry Reciprocity Act. The idea is straightforward. If you have a valid concealed carry permit or are legally allowed to carry in your home state, that right travels with you. Your legal status as a permit holder would be recognized in every other state. It's the same principle as your driver's license. You don't have to take a new driving test in every state you visit, right? This applies the same logic to a fundamental constitutional right. Now, this isn't a get-out-of-jail-free card. It doesn't wipe every local restriction off the map. Federal buildings, schools, and military bases are still off-limits. Private property rights are still respected. If a business owner posts a no-guns sign, this law doesn't change that. It does not override local laws on hardware. This is a key point. If you travel into a state with magazine capacity limits or a ban on certain types of ammunition, you are still required to follow those laws. H.R. 38 is about recognizing you as a legal carrier, not legalizing your specific gear everywhere. It's a critical distinction. But what it does do is create a national standard for law-abiding citizens. And there's a critical piece in this bill a lot of people miss: the private right of action. Let's say you're following all the rules, carrying under reciprocity, but some anti-gun cop arrests you anyway. This provision allows you to sue them. The burden of proof is on the state to prove you were in the wrong. If they can't, you walk, and they have to pay your legal fees. It's a game changer because it disincentivizes politically motivated arrests and protects the individual from being crushed by the legal system. That is a powerful tool for the average gun owner.
The battlefield. The arguments for and against. As you can imagine, a bill this significant has people on both sides digging in for a fight. On the pro-reciprocity side, the argument is about rights and reality. Your right to free speech doesn't end at the California border, so why should your right to self-defense? Supporters argue that the right to travel freely across the country is meaningless if you have to disarm yourself to do so. They point to the data. In Florida, with over 2.5 million permit holders, the permit revocation rate for any crime is a fraction of 1%. The numbers prove that these are not the people we need to worry about. Groups like the NRA and the NSSF have championed this for years, arguing it's the only way to ensure the Second Amendment is portable. For us, the everyday carriers, it means peace of mind. Now, here's the pushback you're going to hear, and it's important to understand their arguments. States with extremely strict gun laws, like New York, California, and New Jersey, are horrified by this. Their main argument is the lowest common denominator problem. They're imagining a scenario where someone from a state with zero required training and a minimal background check can legally carry on the streets of Los Angeles, right next to someone who had to go through an 8-hour course, a live fire test, and a deep dive background investigation. They see it as a federally mandated security risk. Gun control groups like Everytown are also raising alarms. They point to studies from organizations like the RAND Corporation that suggest a link between more permissive carry laws and an increase in violent crime. Whether you believe their methodology is sound or not, that's the data they're bringing to the fight. Finally, some law enforcement groups, like the International Association of Chiefs of Police, have voiced concerns. They worry about the practical chaos for a street cop during a traffic stop. They envision a scenario where an officer pulls over a car at 2 a.m. and is handed a laminated card from a state they've never been to. Is it real? Is it expired? How can they know for sure in a high-stress moment? They argue it adds another layer of uncertainty to an already dangerous job. The road ahead, Congress and the courts. So, where does this bill actually stand? H.R. 38 was introduced by Representative Richard Hudson of North Carolina. It's already passed through the House Judiciary Committee on a party-line vote, and it has over 180 Republican co-sponsors. It has a very real chance of passing the full House of Representatives. But the real fight, the place where bills like this go to die, is the Senate. Frankly, we've seen this movie before. A similar bill passed the House in 2017, but never even got a vote on the Senate floor. Because of the Senate rule known as the filibuster, this bill would likely need 60 votes to pass, not a simple majority of 51. In today's divided political climate, getting 60 senators to agree on anything, let alone a gun bill, is a monumental task. And even if it performs a miracle in the Senate and gets signed into law, the battle is far from over. You can bet that the second the ink is dry, a coalition of blue states will file lawsuits to block it. It will trigger a massive legal showdown that will almost certainly go to the Supreme Court. The case would pit the Second Amendment, bolstered by recent decisions like Heller and Bruin, directly against the 10th Amendment and the principle of states' rights. The Bruin decision, which struck down may-issue carry regimes, established a new test based on historical tradition. Both sides will be digging through centuries of law to argue over whether a history of recognizing out-of-state rights exists. Conclusion: what this means for you. So, at the end of the day, what does this all mean for the guy or gal who just wants to protect themselves and their family, no matter where they are in the country? It means the biggest push for your carry rights in years is happening right now. It's not a done deal, not by a long shot. But the conversation is on the table at the highest levels. On one side, you have the promise of clarity and the freedom to exercise your rights without fear of becoming an accidental felon. On the other, you have powerful opposition that sincerely believes this will make the country more dangerous. This is a marathon, not a sprint. It's going to be a long, tough fight in Congress and in the courts. Staying informed is the first step. Know what this bill actually does. Know the arguments on both sides, and let your representatives know where you stand. Now, I want to hear from you. Is national reciprocity a long overdue common sense solution, or does it create more problems than it solves? Drop your take in the comments below. This debate affects all of us, so let's have it right here, right now. Stay safe out there.